Hi everybody, and welcome to the avtransfersUK video channel here on YouTube. It's been a bit of a hiatus. Well, why, you may ask? It's because we took a bit of a break. On with today's video. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a little favorite subject of mine. When I was a wee whippersnapper back in the 1980s, I used to watch programs like Space 1999 and Buck Rogers and all these things. And one of the things that really caught my imagination was miniature televisions. The fact you could hold a television in your hand and communicate. Now, today that's all very old news, isn't it? It's pretty much sci-fi has become reality, at least in that way. But today we're going to take a look at a handful of small televisions and a television transmitter that I've whipped up, and have a look at some TVs from Sinclair and Sony. So stay tuned. Okay, so this video starts with a kind of an unboxing. That shadow is unfortunately the camera. Let's get that out the way a little bit. So let's take a look. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the transmitter that I've tested it. I use the word transmitter because it maybe transmits things about 5 meters, but that's fine. What have we got? We got a nice power brick. We got a fire stick. Surplus to requirements. Got a power lead for the fire stick. We have a few interesting bits and bobs. We have antenna. We have the fire stick remote, and we have a very interesting HDMI modulator. This comes essentially it comes from China. I bought it from a local seller because it was cheaper and it was local, so it was tested, working, etc. So what I've done here is I've got a UHF modulator, cable and VHF modulator. It'll modulate in the European standard, British standard, or in the American standard, depending on what you set here. And when you set it to American standard, the signal output is NTSC, and when you set it to the European standard, the output is PAL. And this takes us straight from the HDMI input, which is really cool. It may even be stereo, maybe analog stereo, not NICAM. But I haven't confirmed that because I don't have the instruction manual. So what I've done, I've taken an F plug to SMA plug adapter, because I bought SMA antenna, telescopic antenna, because I've got an inline SMA to SMA signal booster. So at some point I'm going to try and boost that up to get a bit more juice out of it, but you know, for the purposes we need it for, this will be fine. So there's the miniature antenna. Just going to plug that in off camera because that's where my hands are. Right, and I've been getting a lot of things ready for the winter because there's a big winter coming here in the UK and in many parts of the Northern Hemisphere, I'm sure. So lots of winter projects have arrived. I've got about 4 boxes from Japan in the house waiting to be opened. And those little puppies are interesting because they're nice new toys from Japan. So we'll be looking at those in due course. So right, I got the modulator. Let's just get a bit of height on the antenna, and let's plug it in and see what happens. Something very interesting. I didn't know you could get these. This is a plug with a switch on the back. I mean, really? Why have I only discovered these now? I was today years old when I discovered that. Yeah, I'm 51 years old, going on 52,000. And look at that. Nice with the light in the back. So let's plug it in. Oh! There we go. Ew! It's not the EU, it's the ew. No, I'm kidding. Don't mind the EU at all. Right, so channel 30. Now, its output, it's set to maximum. Channel 30, I was playing around with it yesterday. I discovered channel 30 sort of matches the aerial fairly well, but I'm quite high-tech in this office. So let me get my tuning meter out, which is stuck to something else right now. Let's see if it picks up anything. Let's stick it up to way high. Am I getting anything at all from this? Huh, no. Bupkis, even if I touch it on there. Okay, maybe the frequency range is not suitable for this. This is good for my medium wave transmitter. I assumed it would be good for this, but clearly it's not. How disappointing! I wanted to see if I tuned this, I'd get a little bit of a, could peak the antenna. Because obviously, depending on the telescopic length of the antenna, we'd get optimum signal. Okay, well, I guess that ain't going to happen. Alright, put that back where it lived. I'll put that back in the AM transmitter. Okay, so right now we've got the transmitter set. It's on a channel. And we're going to plug in the Amazon stick. This is by no means an endorsement for Amazon in any way, shape or form. I love Amazon as much as the next person, but they're not as cheap as you'd like to think they are. Nevertheless, moving along. So we've got the Amazon stick. Now this is, what was it, Heath Robinson? What was the name of the dude? So right now we are modulating on channel 30. We have plugged in the Amazon Fire Stick. And we're going to grab the first of the small TVs. This is what was, back in the early 80s, complete science fiction. A miniature TV with a, what is it, like 2 inches, 1.5 inches screen, rechargeable, AM FM radio, VHF UHF tuning, and wait for it, multi-standard. So European, English and American standards. And if you look down here, you'll see, if it will focus, maybe it will, maybe it won't. You can see there. Now let's put it on. I put some batteries in it. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we got any signal. Whoops. Let's see if we got any signal here. Yeah. Who's watching Fire TV? Ay caramba. Let's put that on. There we go. So now obviously the aspect ratio is not right. It's set up for a 16:9 TV. I'll be impressed if it can actually pick up Wi-Fi here, because we're not in the house and it's different Wi-Fi. So I'm going to probably have to go here to the Wi-Fi settings. Oh lordy loo, which are going to be quite interesting to set up on a screen that's only 2 inches and about a less than standard definition resolution over RF. Where's the rescan all networks? Rescan all networks. Okay, stand by. Well, isn't this special? So what we've got here is we've got a magnifying glass. I'm sorry to say, I'm at the age now where these things are quite useful, and I had to set the Wi-Fi up using a magnifying glass, which really makes you wonder about the usefulness of such a device. But nevertheless, that's a debate for another time. So let's put the TV up here, and let's get the camera back on the tripod, and we'll have a look at this. Okay, so here we are. We've got the camera on the tripod, and I gotta say, you know, even though the tube is very, very small, the picture is good. Now you got to ask yourself, well, were all of these small screens good? And the simple answer is no. Some years ago, I bought a Toshiba, or was it a Panasonic miniature TV. And what I discovered is that some of them had a very rough dot pitch. The dot pitch was very low, like almost the sort that you would get on a big TV screen. So that meant when you only made the screen this size, the resolution was abysmal. It was like looking at a very low resolution LCD screen. So, you know, that kind of ruined the usefulness of some of those devices. So I generally try and collect the ones that are high resolution, if you can imagine a tube being high resolution. So what I've got here is I've just got on this particular Fire Stick, I've got Kodi which I think is probably not going to cooperate. Now we've got something there. Let's see. I can't really see what I'm looking at. Alright, so what we've got here. Now the nice thing about Kodi is you can set playback to full. And what that means is that when you're outputting, even if you're outputting 16:9 from the Fire Stick, and the menus are all obviously narrow, which I can't stand, but anyway, when you play material that is 4:3, it will appear correctly. So there you go. It'd be nice if there was sound, hey? No sound? What? No sound at all? Ha ha! Where is sound? Did I miss a memo? I could have sworn I had sound yesterday. Really? Is this a transmitter thing? I think this could be a transmitter thing now. Let's just change the channel. Here's something. There we go.
Friends are someone you commit enough to. When you feel like you're ready to. When you got.
Okay, we got sound now. That was kind of annoying, wasn't it? So here we've got just some random kids cartoons from the collection playing on this little set. And what's kind of cool is if you change to VHF or UHF, you can obviously receive channels on those stations. But let's have a closer look at this set, at this little machine. Okay, so I don't want to get copyright strike on this, but let's have a look here. So what did this machine have that was so amazing? Well, let's just say in the early 80s, you know, TVs were big and bulky. And the idea of being able to take a TV along with you on a holiday, on a picnic, that kind of thing was just incredible. Okay, so this is quite a this of the sets. I would say this is the most robust of the Sanyo sets. Because it runs on 9 volts, you get a bit more oomph for your battery. And the model of this one is a TPM 2770. So basically, let's just have a look at the controls. You've got a really nice alarm clock. You can actually wake up with TV or radio. You've got radio tuning. You've got a clock. I don't think it's working now. The battery's gone on this one, unfortunately. And it also came with a really groovy leather strap, or leather case, which had a cover as well. There were 2 models of these. There's also a slightly narrower one which doesn't have the multi-system on the front. On the side, you've got different standards. So there's your European sound, and there's your NTSC. So the actual VHF UHF switch controls the vertical hold. So when you go to a 60 Hertz picture, it will correctly work. And then there are other controls here as well: contrast, brightness, and vertical hold, and an external antenna. There's no monitor input on this, which is a shame. And if you look at the back, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? Exactly. A very relaxed battery compartment, shall we say. I'll actually put that in my pocket. So over here you've got your little, what is this, SR43 silver oxide cell. I should probably take that out and put a fresh one in there. Let's have a look and see what that's all about. Oh, no, that's a little bit on the optimistic side. Ah, this looks good. I don't know, I thought it was just the CR, whatever it is, the same sort of battery you find in computers and most modern appliances. But clearly this is not that. Oh, it's a bit stubborn. It's way stubborn. Okay, let's check it out and have a look. Oh, no. Oh, Oh, it's like what they used to call the old. We used to use this in the Nintendos. Let me just put that down so I don't drop and smash it. What is that? That's like a. Let's get a magnifying glass. Oh God, magnifying glass. Oh, it's can't fly. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh. Okay. Let's have a look here. Where are we? Here we are. I can't see that in the camera. Let me look at it with my eyeballs. Okay, this says as follows: AG13 button cell. Okay, AG13. Okay, well, that's going in the bin. Now that I've noted what it is, and let's put this back. Oh God. Now, okay, so basically you had the clock battery, which actually lasted a long time, if I remember correctly. I remember these TVs being on display because I've got a little display cabinet, and for quite a while there was a clock, but that was that, right? So let's put that back in there. The screw seems a bit industrial, a bit heavy duty for such a small thing. Anyway, so basically in this particular unit you could put, as you could see, 6 AA's, or you could put in one of their rechargeable batteries, NTP506. Here we go with the magnifying glass again. Just get my Zimmer frame already, man. NTP500. So it was called a Sanyo Kandinka. I wouldn't be surprised if you could make something up with a modern LiPo battery that would work just as well. But to be honest, why? You know, AA's are easy enough to find. Obviously, there's different contacts for that. I suppose that's obviously a battery, some sort of switch. Oh, right. So I don't even know how it would connect in here. Let's just see. Okay, so that would have been the plus. Okay, would have just connected on this side. It looks like nothing on this side. This would just be springs. Okay, so there you go. So that's the first set. 4-way power. Okay, so what is it? External, internal, other internal. I don't know what the fourth one is. Yeah, these are great little sets, and the fact that they are still working untouched after all these years is pretty good. Pretty good. So this was basically the Japanese version of what the UK had designed as well, and we're going to take a look now at that one. I just want to have a look quickly at this model number, TPM2770. Yeah, okay, here Radio Museum's got a shtick about it. Alright, so according to this, 1983. Okay, wow. And that's about all it says about this one at the moment. Osaka, Japan, and it has 2 question marks. So yeah, not really much more information from Radio and TV Museum, but a really nice little set. And if you are a collector of small TVs and you don't have one of these in your set, you're doing something wrong, because these were everywhere, right? And if you were a traveler, I guess you could go to different countries. I guess you were, if you're in the UK and you wanted to go to Spain and you wanted to watch Spanish TV, you would just get one of these. Focus, for goodness sakes. And you could use it like a radio. People used to travel with their radios, right? That predates my time on this planet, but yeah, a cool little TV. Now let's take a look at the next one. You'll be happy to know we're back on the tripod again. So this TV came out in 1983. That's the best information we've got. I would say it was probably 1982, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, shall we? And let's go back in time to 1979. Ooh, what do we have here? Another TV from the old collection. Let's take the screen protector off, and what do we have here? A very nice Telefunken picture tube. Telefunken. Was it Telefunken or Telefunken? I always said Funken. because they were a funky bunch. If you look at the screen sizes, would you say they're the same? Possibly, yes. This screen appears a lot flatter than this one, but I like the roundness of this one. So this was another little TV rescue from some time ago, and it's also been sitting in the collection way too long. And I thought, looking at all these retro little TVs, I got a lot of these retro TVs. They're on display in just a cabinet. And I thought to myself, really, I should see which ones still work. So the good news is this one does still work. And I know a lot of the Sinclair sets don't work anymore. This one does. So thank goodness they hadn't invented surface mount capacitors yet. This is a PAL-only version of the MTV, I think it's the B1. A really nice little set. A very basic channel indicator on the side. It's got your line hold and frame hold, external power, headphones, and this is CCIR System 1, so basically black and white PAL, and it uses MTV1B. This was 1979. The first set I saw like this was the MTV, I think the A1, and that was a multi-system version of this. Then that came out, I think, in 78. I probably saw it in 1983, somewhere around there. But this was the Sinclair, the MTV1. Maybe I'll drop in a picture of that one in here somewhere. Was slightly wider, and it had a multi-system tuner as well, much like the Sanyo that I've just shown you. But those go for ridiculous money now. I don't know why. Maybe because it's one of the few last sort of great British companies that existed before they basically sold everything to the Chinese or to the Japanese at the time. But Clive Sinclair, let's look at a little bit about Clive Sinclair. Born in 1940, died in 2021. Okay, so he was around a while. Clever guy. I mean, he invented the Sinclair computer. He's recognized. Lots of recognition. Let's see, what inventions? Why is there no inventions in Wikipedia? Okay, so yeah, right. Here we go. Obviously very famous for the ZX80, ZX81, ZX Spectrum, which I had one of those. Made a lot of games. Invented an electric vehicle. The TV80 flat screen was another one of his handheld sets which used a flat screen, and we've got some of those as well. But those generally are not very reliable. They tend to fail. So these are much more reliable. Anyway, let's get back to this. So I discovered only recently that there was a battery compartment in this, and I'm a bit embarrassed to admit it, but when I opened it, it had spewed its guts, the batteries that were in there. But because it's completely sealed off from the rest of the machine, I was able to simply go and buy a new one of these dudes, which is great news, because it means it uses a 9-volt connector. I do have Dropsy this morning in there, and let's just pop these batteries in here. There's 4, so what's the 6 volts? And oh, you think I'm advertising for Amazon today, hey? I just buy what's cheap. Batteries, oh dear. Let's get some lipos. Okay, so that pops in there. This is basically a fit. It's a little bit tighter than the other one, but not terrible. The channel numbering goes on there, which is kind of cool. Just slide that in there. Not quite right. Let's just try that again. Take 2. Push that in. Oh no, push that in there. Oh god. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So again, what I like about this set is it has a monster, absolute monster antenna on it. Is this focused? I really hope it is. Let's just try and focus this a bit better for you by zooming out a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So let's switch it on. Whoa. Look at that. Now I had this little guy. Obviously, to save battery power, they kept the screens quite dull. I'm sure these screens could go a lot brighter than this. And the dot pitch on this is excellent. I'd say probably even better than the other set. Let's see if we can tune it in to something. I was battling yesterday. I think the AFC circuit in this is a bit gone. But where are we going? Where are we going?
Spider. Oh no.
Sound is working well. So there we go. We have got a very bit of a noisier picture on this one, unfortunately. It seems to be working okay. Now what it's got on here, it's got a vertical hold and a horizontal hold. It does not have a brightness or contrast on here, which is kind of irritating because I would imagine there are internal controls for that, but I would really like to be able to adjust those, because to me that is not perfect, right? But it is working, right? And that's if you look at the side of the machine, you'll see it's got a very crude little channel indicator there that goes up and down as you tune it. But it works, it does work. And to be honest, 1979, even let's just assume it was made late in the production run, I don't know when it was made, pretty damn good.
You mean he's gonna start dancing every time I mention Hawaii?
Now if I keep going up and down the band, I keep hoping for an international TV skip, but just a bit of digital noise up at around channel 60. For all I know, that could be what, 5G? I don't know. Or could that be 5G at 60? Nothing down there. Going back there, down.
Macadamia nuts.
Let's see. I think you've got to also appreciate that at the time of these things being made, there was sort of a craze, if you like, to build things that were smaller and smaller. We had the Walkman coming out in the 80s. We had portable video cameras, handheld VCRs, things like that. There was a lot of change happening. And there was that ever increasing need to make things smaller. And to be honest, it's really not watchable, you know? I mean, it's cool. It's really cool that it has the sort of flicker of a normal TV set, and you know, that's great fun. But is it watchable? No. I would say small TVs started becoming watchable when active LCD matrices came out, and that would have been, I suppose, early to mid 90s. Before that, color LCD was just furry and totally rubbish to look at. And basically, when active LCD started coming out, and those were popular, you got a lot better pictures for your money, and that was a nice development in the sort of handheld TV market. But then again, you were still stuck with analog reception, and I remember, you know, driving around trying to get a signal, and it was very touch and go. It was very much hold it here and you got a picture, and hold it there and you got a picture. So it really never took off. So luckily for us, telephones and 5G have brought television viewing to your hands very, very easily. You may even be watching this on a 5G phone or a tablet or a laptop. So there you go, science fiction. Now, moving on from that, let's take a look at TV number 3, which is a little bit different. Stand by. Okay, so here we've got something a little bit different. Again, these little sets have been fetching stupid money on eBay. I got this one from Japan. It was incredible that it actually arrived in one piece, because it literally was in a box with a piece of newspaper around it, and there was nothing else around it. Bracket that holds up the back of the TV failed. So I tried to glue it with a couple of pieces of rubber yesterday, and it was fine. And I left it overnight, and this morning it was just collapsed. The idea was that this would be able to open and close, and you could reveal all the controls. This is, would you believe, from 1980. Okay, a full color Sony Trinitron. What is that? A 4-inch, maybe a 3.5-inch TV. I've cleaned it up somewhat. It's not in the best condition. There's dirt behind the glass. I can't even imagine how I would get in there without damaging it. So I've cleaned it up as best as I can. And what's nice about this is, okay, this is an NTSC only machine, but VHF, UHF tuning, it has manual tuning, auto tuning, it has all the controls here, underneath, forgive me for that, don't hate me for trying to glue that part in, I'll have to maybe strip it at some point. Your vertical hold, your hue, your color, your brightness, your picture. 1980, okay, 1980 this was made. So really nothing to sneeze at. This was, you know, if you think old Sinclair was, I'm going to put this in here just as a spacer. If you think that Sinclair was making black and white sets in 78, 79, 80, he lost his edge pretty quickly, which is probably why he went out of business, you know. Well, that and a number of other reasons which I haven't researched, so I'd be talking out of my tuchus if I was telling you anything more than that. But clearly the Sinclair TVs, although brilliant, and I think they retailed at like £99, you know, you had this stuff coming out from Japan and way more sophisticated, way more. So if we look at the back of this, I'm a bit bummed about the bracket on this, and I might be brave enough to try and fix it at some point. It does AV in, which is really nice. It runs on 12 volts. There was an accompanying 12 volt supply for this. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but not too serious because obviously it would have been 100 volts anyway. It takes an external antenna and MPX out, which I would imagine meant that if the television broadcast was in stereo, you could get an add-on MPX decoder and listen to the soundtrack in stereo. So Japan in 1980 would have had stereo television. Again, pretty cutting-edge stuff. So the only problem with this is that a lot of early Japanese stuff, in fact most stuff that uses the sort of DC barrel jack pre 90s has inverted polarity. So the outside is positive and the inside is negative. So it's a bit of a pain to get power to it because I've got lots of DC adapters, but they're not the right ones for this particular set. So I had to, you know, come up with a plan. So over here, in fact, before I switch it on, let's just check that I've got the right voltage going in to it. Yeah, okay, so it's just going to sit on 12 volts there, or just 11.9. Let's set it up to 12. Oh, no, that's too much. 12 volts, exactamundo. So the other thing I discovered about this is you plug this puppy in. Can you see it there? You can see it. Switch it on. And it starts searching for a channel, which is really awesome. It draws 1 amp of power. So I can't imagine that you would have used this on batteries for very long. Perhaps on a car battery it would have worked for a while. Let's just search. I'm going to be cheeky here. I'm just going to search through the UHF band and see if it picks up the PEL broadcast, which I suspect it will. It's locking on. There you go. There you go. It's actually picked up the PEL broadcast. It's not in color because the system is different, and it probably won't pick up the sound either. Another nice thing about this is the antenna. You push this and you can pull out the antenna, which then goes up like that. You can see that. It's really cool. So there we go. We've got that on there. Let's just see, is that the actual signal, or is that a side carryover signal? Is that the signal? Really? That's it? It's pretty crap. That can't be right. Excuse my French. It might just be getting a lot of interference from something else. Okay, you have to excuse my very crude battery brackets here, but I figure it's the easiest way to keep the screen in the right position so we can access the controls. So this is actually the first time I'm testing this tuner. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and flip the video modulator from European standard to American standard. So stand by. Okay, so I've been playing around with this for a while now, and unfortunately I'm not too clear if this little modulator does Japanese frequencies, because I tried the American frequencies and I could get picture but no sound. So I guess there's a difference, and I'm sure there is a difference, but it didn't seem to have a Japan option in the menus. It was just either USA or Europe. So I've kind of given up on that. I'm managing to display a PAL picture actually on this monitor by just adjusting the vertical hold, and in a moment I'm going to connect it into the AV inputs and show you some video from that. And finally we have some video from this set. The flicker is because of the camera resolution, or at least the camera frame rate. Let's just try to get in there and show you. Thankfully the set has got AV inputs, and to be honest that is the only way really to modulate signal properly. But a really nice little set. It has very nice controls. I wouldn't say it's the sharpest of the Sonys I've seen. The tube is a bit soft. It's plenty brightness, but the picture is a little bit soft, and I suspect some of that is to do with the glass being a bit furry and dirty on the inside, but also it's probably been used a lot, which is probably why, ironically, it still works. You often find things that have been left just to gather dust don't actually work for very long, whereas something that's been used quite regularly still works. So that's pretty amazing that I'm getting, obviously to the eye there's no flicker on that picture. We're just playing some videos from YouTube out as NTSC, and that's going to the back to AVN. What's also nice about this set is it has light up frequency displays that come up over here at the top and the bottom of the screen, and you saw earlier the little bar that moves across that shows you the frequency. So a really nice feature for a CRT of this era. So yeah, I think that sums up. That was a bit stressful, that little last bit, because I had hoped that there would be a better modulation of the signal, but it does show you the tuner is working. I couldn't get a color lock, but via AV in the color is fine. So really nice little set. This model, the Kv-4p, I think it's 4. I'll print the number on the screen to make sure I've got the right one. So there you have it. A little fun look at some small TVs. I've got lots more of them, and if you like this kind of thing, please consider subscribing, and I'll put more of these kinds of things on the TV channel, the avtransfersUK TV channel, that is to say, here on YouTube. But for now, that's it. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.